Blog Talk.
Diverse everything. Okay. Diverse everything. Okay. Yeah. Doing that down south Brooklyn crank rock. Brooklyn crank rock. Say what, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. One thing him really be the shit now. Wonder if you gonna make another hit now. Did you hear how clear that bass sound? Make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, they bucket. Good crank, that's all that I ever really do now. I got that vocab in me, and it makes me warm but friendly. But baby, if they cross me, really better hope that you lost me, because the trail is hard. Diverse everything, okay. Doing that down south Brooklyn crank rock. Brooklyn crank rock. Say what, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. One thing him really be the shit now. Wonder if you gonna make another hit now. Did you hear how clear that bass sound? Make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, they bucket. Good crank, that's all that I ever really do now. I got that vocab in me, and it makes me warm but friendly. But baby, if they cross me, really better hope that you lost me, because the trail is costly. It's murky, dirty, mossy. Let's take it down to the algae. Fungus, bacteria, and plankton. So ain't thinking, just drinking. It's stankin', wanking. Why I be banging in Franklin, unshackling minds and wanking. At them pigs that's eating ribs, strangling the block, just like a rock. Don't stop, make a hot body rock uptown. Get down to the town, fuck around when I come round, blasting round. Rappers know how I get down, bringing that down from Brooklyn town. For my people in the pound, now you know how I get down, bringing that crank rock Brooklyn down. Studio, stereo, radio, video, laptop, iPod, download, mainframe, maintain. We all in the same gang. When they all come, we all gon' have to gang bang. So it's all the same thing, the same wrong, and that's how we do our thing. That's how we all man. I'm not a man. Get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. No one thing him really be the shit now. Wonder if you're gonna make another hit now. Did you hear how clear that bass sound? Make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, get bucket, crank, bang, that's all that I ever really do now. Say what, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. No one thing him really be the shit now. Wonder if you're gonna make another hit now. Did you hear how clear that bass sound? Make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, get crank, bang, that's all that I ever really do now. When I say Alpha Omega, do that nigga wanna play Sega. And when you meet your maker, will you be able to take her? Deep breath and breathe. Believe and try to retrieve all the reasons that you chose not to be right, exact, and just act right and on that day. Chose to go the other way, hunting, scoping, controlling, loking, no hoping they illin', always illin'. They listen, it's they ego rappers, see they wicked, illin', feeling for they blood spilling. That's coming from them killing, but I am willing, trick these raps from my chillin', so that we all be chillin', headlining with the army. That's what we have in common. My skin tone rhyming. With a turban like a Brahmin, but I don't work no idol. I'm vital, up the highest title, reptilian rival. I take your title, sacrifice it for a musical, for a musical viral. I'm liable to take my rhymes there. Devil only scared, those unprepared, those not written, those that just ain't getting, those that get in the way of they self when they come to fair, and it don't matter 'cause we are. Get up to the get down. Get up to the get it up, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. No, I think him really be the shit now. Wonder if you gonna make another hit now. Did you hear how clear that bass sound? Make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, get bucket, crank, bang, that's all that I ever really do now. Say what, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. No, I think him really be the shit now. Wonder if you gonna make another hit now. Did you hear how clear that bass sound? Make everybody else wanna get down. Say what, get bang, that's all that I ever really do now. That's all that I ever really do now. Say what, get up to the get down. Get that more, don't put that hit now. Gonna talk that shit now.
Peace, what's up, y'all? I'm coming to you live, Super Heru Radio. I am your host, Aseer the Ducateers, along with my great brother, Stardust Ali. What's up, homie? You there?
What's going on, King?
All right. We in, man. We in. This is what, 13, right?
Yes, sir.
It's 12 was last week, right? Yeah, so we hit 13. This is the 13th show, Super Heru Radio, working on striving to be consistent at all times in what we're dealing with. Just saying what's up to all the human families of planet Earth. Just saying peace to everybody that's willing to work on their own, if they have to reach the level of clarity and spiritual sovereignty that we all striving to get. You know? So how was your week, brother? Hello, you there? Are we in? Oh, sorry, you hear me? I hope so. I hope we didn't get shut down again, because I know these dudes be going in on our show. If you're not, brother, pull back in. Well, I hope I'm on the end. Either way, a lot of things going on this time. Looks on. You know what? Let me see. Everybody in the chat room, if you're in there, let me know if you can hear me, man. That way I'll know for sure. Oh. Thank you. Everybody, can y'all hear me? If so, let me know through the chat. Because it seems whenever Super Heru comes on, there's always some type of problem, technical difficulties. I don't want this to just be dead air. Are they on? Everybody can hear us? Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for letting us know. Maybe a Sarge joint went out. So, Sarge, if you win. Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I just got kicked off.
See? And again, y'all, we be paying for this shit, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, he's back in now. We just got cut off briefly. But I was asking, how was your week, man?
It was good. We had good weather, for most of the days last week. Now it's a little rainy, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We have to put it in the sunshine. We're gonna get some trees to grow. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. How's the climate in terms of the people mind state up there?
Oh. It's like the bad, it's like the good old days up here, man. Bloomberg and the rest, but murder rate is the murder rate, the assault rate, robberies, everything is on the up right now. Right? It was dropping like flies out here in New York City.
They're going hard on them, right?
Yeah. Especially in Bronx, Harlem. It's like crazy.
Really? From what I'm hearing, it's like a graveyard up there now. You know what I mean? And the spiritual joint, it seemed like everybody's just wilding. I heard they just had one of the lectures up there. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, the discussion debate. Ray Hagan and Wesley Muhammad.
Oh, so more like it was a what? Wait, Ray Hagan? You talking about Ray Hagan the cop? Talking about Ray Hagan the police? That's what you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So wait. So you saying that that Ray Hagan, the police officer, was up there debating somebody?
Yes. I believe the topic was is Islam a African tradition or something along the lines. Something dealing with is Islam spiritually based in African tradition, something like that.
Oh my God. So who is he talking to? Who is he debating?
It was supposed to be a debate or a discussion with the brother True Islam, Wesley Muhammad.
Oh wow! So basically, it was the Nation of Islam.
Yeah, exactly.
Against Ray Hagan.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And did you tell me some shit like this dude acquiesced to everything that this guy said? Okay. I guess that's what's up then. Did you fall out again, G? See? I'm glad everybody is privy to this because, you know, we're not doing this on purpose. Like, we're actively kind of losing money in that sense because every time my brother or we go out or something, it's like we wasting time. But this is some of the things that you do, and collectively or spiritually, you're putting yourself on a path to get right information out. Not information that makes people feel good. Not information that is there to regurgitate based on what you heard the last 8 lecturers or last 8 conscious people say. This is about structural information that we can use to, again, truly regain our spiritual sovereignty. Sovereignty for those people who is under any misillusion or misgivings about it has nothing to do with paperwork. Paperwork sovereignty is about commerce. You know what I'm saying? And again, you have a lot of people out here putting things out about the Moors and what the paperwork is about. But really, when it comes down to it, it's not about any of that. It's about you being able to connect yourself ancestrally back to something that exists before everything was here. So, to me, that's what sovereignty is really about. You really going within your spiritual self and spiritual center and allowing yourself not to be distracted by any or everybody else who is telling you what you need to be doing with that type of stuff, you know? And again, this is coming from somebody who has filed paperwork and who has done stuff like that in the past. And when we was doing it, a lot of people was getting beat up from that. When I say we, I'm talking about me and my team. And we were able to ascend out of that and go to the next level of, you know, the sovereignty aspect of it, which is the physical implementation. How are you going to deal with these people when they come to you? Because Moors will tell you and people of consciousness will tell you a lot of things, but then when you're standing before that judge or you're standing before that individual that has some type of fictitious or de facto power, you be the one having to deal with that alone. You know what I mean? None of these Moors was around when I was doing what I needed to do. So it can only be the same for us all. So we got to, again, really start to spiritually attune ourselves to the aspect of ourselves that we can, again, and that has nothing to do with paperwork. It begins with understanding and being honest with oneself and what you can handle and what you cannot handle. We as original people need to stop investing our time and putting ourselves in situations we don't need to be in, because all it's doing is creating ciphers in which now we got straight up police officers, straight up people working with the police that's doing lectures, that's doing debates on African or black consciousness, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are real people. These are people out here that's kicking this conscious stuff or whatever. These niggas coming in there with straight police. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't the goal. That's not what C. Freeman L. was doing. That's not what people like Brother Dawa was doing. That's not what the forefathers of this movement. You never see John Henry Clark rolling. John Henry Clark, C. Freeman L. You never see them niggas rolling with police. Like, come on, man. When did that become cool? And who's paying for these guys to come in and do this type of stuff in our community still? What's up with that? You know what I mean? Like, this, they literally have turned this thing almost into a version of a rap game. And it's not acceptable. At least I don't feel it is. Sorry, you there? Yep. Okay, I was just making sure. You know, it's just getting to the point where it's despicable, man. You telling me these niggas had burners up in there? They had gas, friend? That's what you saying? Because you know the police ain't coming there with no guns. I don't know what you talking about. I don't know niggas say, but police ain't going nowhere with not no gun. So I know they had hammers up in there. Again, man, I don't know about you, but it seems like the climate is getting more and more precarious the more and more we move further into this guy's presidency. I don't know if anybody's seen a correlation, but like they say in the streets, I'm is. You know what I'm saying? You there, homie? Cause it sounds like your joint keep going in and out. Is it just me? Hello? Yeah. I can hear you better now. See, it keeps sounding like your joint is going in and out. We'll get it together, though, y'all. Hello? See, now it sounds like you totally... Now it sounds like you totally gone.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better. You know, at the same time this is going on, your president then outsourced your space program. So now you got people like Starbucks and all these people investing in space shuttles now. The last space shuttle flight that's sanctioned by NASA as an independent agency affixed to the United States just happened. But see, what it is they don't put space shuttle landings and shit like that on TV no more unless they crash. You know what I'm saying? So, like, people don't even be knowing, but they be running what they call sorties every other day, trying to go up to that space station and get it proper. But as much as they trying to do, they still ain't fixed the toilet in the joint, man. They done spent $10 million on trying to get the toilet right. You understand? Just like on a tour bus, for those people that have ever been on a tour bus, they tell you can't crap on the bus. It's the same thing in the space shuttle. For some reason, they haven't built the technology that's good enough for them to install a credible toilet. But these are the same people that's talking about how they are trying to create, you know, spaceships to take them into space. Coincidentally, Stephen Hawking was talking about that recently. Right?
Talking about aliens and everything. Yeah.
Wasn't it funny what he said, though? He was like, yo, maybe we really shouldn't be building with these aliens because they probably, if they like us, they done destroyed their ecosystem, so they probably going to try to come over here and set up shop, man. We need to stop sending out radio broadcasts to these dudes, man. He's like, yo, what do y'all think is doing? He said, V's on TV, nigga. You know? But again, this is what I mean about them, yo. This is them telling the truth about, you know, their little Operation Bluebeam thing they wanted to bring through with the fake alien invasion shit. Which is why it's funny that he's talking all of this stuff after the 11th show we gave everybody the star coordinates where these G5 class entities, where they be manifesting these things, where they come from. Then the next week after that, that's when that meteor allegedly hit. But then that's also when they started saying they started receiving radio transmissions from some type of galaxy that was close to the one that we talked about. So astrologically, y'all, we got to get a lot more on point with our zodiacus, understanding the difference between astronomy, astrology, you know, how to localize the positions of constellations, you know, what a redshift galaxy is. We gotta start becoming more inclined with the deeper aspects of what it is in being Moors, you know? Not just about how not to pay taxes, you know? You really bugged me out though with what you said, man. With this what do you call it? Gun thing, this whole debate thing with the police. Like, so that's what it is now. So, you know.
I mean, it's been, you know what I'm saying, it's been on a constant decline since when? Since the homie got into office. You know, like, I believe, like, once he got into office, it was like outright war was declared on, you know what I'm saying, original people manifesting consciousness. And it's been a civil war or different, you know what I'm saying, forms of a civil war, factions against factions ever since, till now. That was a debate or a discussion or whatever they want to call it, but it was some form of parlance between two different, you know, ideological groups about a subject that both groups actually relate to each other on and have more similarities and differences. You know, like, I'm not, you know, caught up in, oh, well, he's a, you know what I'm saying, Hebrew Israelite, he's a Moor, he's in the Nation of Islam and everything like that. Like, we all original people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, when you go down to the root, we all have more similarities than differences. So what are we debating about? You know what I'm saying? KKK ain't debating neo-Nazis. They trading guns and arms right now. That's what they do.
Yep.
You know
they the ones making the most noise against these dudes, man.
Yeah.
They're the ones banging on this dude the hardest right now. It's the militias and the so-called neo-Nazis. Because what it is, too, people are not doing the knowledge that when we were talking about the paperwork thing with the Moorish thing, all of that UCC paperwork, all of that stuff started once the Patriots realized that they had no standing in the original United States government. You know what I'm saying? And when they started figuring that out, they wanted to find a way to annex themselves to the Moors, who actually had laid claim and was already recognized through the Empress, as well as what Noble Jali had put down. You know? Mm-hmm. And let's keep it real. Elijah Muhammad was in the Moorish Science Temple, too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's just that he had to take, Fard Muhammad, too. There's pictures of all three of them together that the Empress put out there, you know? It's just that each one of those ideologies that was set up after the whole thing, you have to understand, we are the products of a plan that's been going on for a long time, not only between the devil and the white man, but the black man within himself and the different factions and the unrequited issues that came along with the amalgamation process of letting these people into our noble families. And that there is a contingent of black families, affluent so-called black families, that have been and still are complicit in keeping this thing the way it is.
You okay?
You know what I'm saying? You dig? So it's a whole nother thing going on that we as conscious people, it seems like every day we wake up there's another enemy, you know? There's something else wrong with the situation. Yet the more bleak the situation is, actually the better it seems like it's becoming, because at least now it's a situation where it's agreed upon that this dude is an agent. So when Phil Valentine and other people came out back in the days and said Ray Hagan was an agent, they was like, oh, they hating on him because he coming from the Christian thing and all of that. But again, he's one of these dudes who came into the cipher, didn't get nobody else no respect. And I don't mean like, you know, you need to, you know, jump on people's bandwagon, but at least acknowledge the fact that you're coming into a community. Stop, you know, don't try to make it seem like you bringing new, you know, because the people that's coming from the churches and they not really unsure, you got to be there just for them and them alone. When the most people in the church, man, they only dealing with you because he was a Christian pastor. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But again, man, it don't surprise me because most pastors just 32nd degree Masons anyway. You got to be down with it. As well as the Eastern Star, the deaconesses, and all of these people. So, you know, it's sad, you know. Yet at the same time, it's good because before any nation gets together, there's got to be a civil war, and that's what's going on now. You know?
Yep.
Wow. It's just crazy to me. Like 2 years ago, if you'd have told me that a person that was outed for being down with the police would still be allowed to come within a community and build, I'd have been like, you bugging. But now, you know what I'm saying? But now it's like, well, whatever. And again, he ain't the only one. Let's keep it real. He ain't the only one out there. You know, the syndicate know what's going on. You know, but again, when you're in a situation where you the lone wolf, people can make it seem like you tripping, like you ain't got nothing, like you don't know what you talking about.
We in a time of awakening and a quickening, though. So you know, and we spoke about that a couple episodes before, where you know people will be getting exposed for who they truly are. So now is not the time to be, you know, acting in a fictitious manner and you know what I'm saying, doing things outside of character, because you know it will be exposed. And time and time again, these things have, you know, come about. You know, the thing about Ray Higgins was spoken about, you know, some months ago. I believe that might have been, you know, one of our first episodes we touched on it. And then now, look, even after that, he still was allowed to come, and he was paid. You know what I'm saying? Not only was he allowed to, you know, be in this debate or discussion, he was also paid to do this debate or discussion after the people knowing that, you know, his true colors, knowing that that he was a former police officer and things of that nature.
Like, did anybody even bring that up to the dude? Like, if anybody that was there and y'all was there, whatever, when we get to the call-in part, let me know, man. If I was there, call up and let us know what the deal is. Because if he was still there, you know what I'm saying, and ain't nobody pressed the issue about him being a pig or nothing like that, you know, that's kind of weird to me, too. Because then that means, again, people don't realize that one of the back-end things that come from ops like that is to test the apathetic nature of the people. If the people are so apathetic that they'll let some police dude come up in there that they already been revealed as a police, that's like wearing a dress that your rapist bought you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to do that. You're not going to be in a situation or put yourself in a position to be around somebody that you know potentially is a spiritual enemy, you know? And again, all of these guys, when we talk about black Masons, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not one. I never went through no initiation for none of that. However, I got people that have been in the craft for 70 years hollering at me to figure out how they can get out of this shit, because now they realize that they've been all duped into this black Satanist shit through that shit. You know what I'm saying? And this is not to say that Masonry is an evil thing, because it's not. We all know the story of Kemet. We all know where it came from. We all know what we built. But we ain't talking about that type of Mason. I'm talking about this Blue Lodge bullshit that these niggas has put themselves in and walking around with this G and this compass and this star, and they still think that because they conscious and they metaphysical that there's a way that they can still navigate between the two worlds in that. Once you decided to go through a ritual where you decide to get your knowledge through another man, you have put yourself under the spiritual jurisdiction of the God or egregore of that order that was set up that you initiated yourself into. So there is no more spiritual development from that. You can't show and prove that to me, because if that's the case, then all of these black Masons, they will be hooking up the niggas that we already see in the street now. We know that that's not the case. Anything that you got to join where you can't have no women in is a problem. You think what I'm saying? Any type of order you get in where only men can be in there and there can't be no women, or vice versa, there's something wrong with that shit. Because we done passed the point in history where we don't have no responsibility for ourselves, and we know who and what we are and what we represent. This is the time that we need to be integrating. If anything, these lodges need to be integrated with people that are not Masons and people that have not gone through the oath to help those niggas out of the situations and the devilishment they put themselves in. But they ain't going to do that. Nope. Anytime you see a speaker and he always speak about the family, you'll never see this nigga with his family. Something wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? Something wrong, yo. You don't never see the dude with his kids and none of that stuff. Like, something wrong with that dude. You dig? And again, I ain't speaking about nobody in particular. I'm speaking about everybody in general. You know what I'm saying? Because essentially that is the glass ceiling in the black community that nobody is talking about, that is ritualistically killing us, creating precious rituals, getting people fixated on money and all this other stuff. These black Masons, people like Calvin Butts, people don't know they found a dead body of a woman in his crib right off of Montauk Highway. People ain't talking about that. Remember that? But this is the same nigga that'll sit down and stamp and run a steamroller over Tupac CDs and shit. Right? But this guy is complicit in murder. You know, ritual murder connected to Montauk Point. But ain't nobody talking about that. Charlie Rango is the nigga who sold out Harlem. And people not even talking about his real history and the fact that when he was coming up, he stabbed Adam Clayton Powell. Him and Percy Sutton. Because them niggas, them boule niggas, they didn't like what Adam was doing. And Adam was boule, but Adam was the type of boule that would put everybody's business on Front Street. So at least he was real. He would do shit like they wanted to arrest him because they was trying to bring up some bill in Congress that was going to totally gentrify Harlem, and he was like, no. So every time he was supposed to vote on the bill, he never showed up. So they put a warrant on his arrest. So what this dude did, he made a promise to his father that he would always preach on Sunday at the Abyssinian Baptist Church. So this dude would do shit like he would be jet set and doing everything, and then he was sneaking in Sunday mornings and teach his sermon. But because the 5-0 under the law, they can't go in no church like that, he was safe. Then he would go out the back go back on the plane and go to his island and shit. You know what I mean? So he was flipping their own game on them.
Damn, yeah.
So much so that they had to get somebody like a Charlie Rangel or Percy Sutton and the rest of these boule niggas to help try to set him up and kill him. You know what I'm saying? And the same is going on now. Ain't nobody stepping to Jesse Jackson for his role in the Martin Luther King killing, because they know that essentially Martin opened himself up for that. You know, I bet you if he'd have left his name Michael Luther King, he'd have had a whole nother destiny. But he chose to become a reformist, you know, based on some ritual.
You heard about this character that tried to cap the homie Barry at the airport? Dressed up, he was dressed up as a police officer with the hammer. A guy, I can't remember his first name, but funny enough, his last name is McVeigh.
Wow.
And, as the president was going to the presidential Air Force One or whatever, he started walking to the president, and then people finally peeped, like, wait, he's not a police officer. So they like grabbed him, like, yo, where you going? And then he was like, I gotta speak to the president.
And his last name was McVeigh?
Yes, sir. His name is like Jimmy McVeigh or Jonathan McVeigh, something like that.
Ain't that a bitch? And people need to know he ain't do that. Timothy McVeigh ain't do all of that shit, man. He didn't blow up that building by himself. He ain't do none of that Oklahoma shit that went down. Come on, man. Like, anybody that still believes that the American government is not out here killing people probably need to be killed, because they are not living in the real world, man. Because the only people killing everybody is the government.
Mm-hmm.
And if it ain't the government, it's the police, which is another aspect of the government, because they bring forth the public policy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's a book that people could get called The Grand Chessboard by Zbigniew Brzezinski, Barack Obama's handler. And in that book, he talks about Oklahoma getting bombed and all of that by a guy named Tim McVeigh. But this book came out a year to the day of the Oklahoma thing.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that Prince knew? How is it that Prince knew in a concert in the beginning of 2000? How did he know that Osama was going to drop bombs allegedly on the United States when nobody even knew who and what Osama bin Laden was? But if you go onto YouTube and type in Prince knows about Obama, you'll see that he gave a performance. I think it was like in '99, and he was talking about what was going to happen. The same way you get people like the Cool and Busta Rhymes that all was going to come out with the album cover with the Twin Towers burning up and all of that. Like this been in effect, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, again, our people are so used to, you know, the mundane aspects of this game that we approaching it like it's checkers, man. And it's really not, man. It's really not. There was something else too. Somebody died on April 19th, right? Guru.
Yeah.
Guru. Look at that whole shit. 19th. That's Hitler. That's the day Hitler allegedly bought it. And that happens to be the same day Guru wound up dead. The same day the boule chick, Dorothy Height, she wound up dead. Following this nigga in the afterlife, so we have the Aseer set to walk with him on the internal road into the Amenta. This is how these fool people think and all that. But look at how they did Guru. Or how he let them do him. Because now niggas is saying that he was a mo, right? And him and Solar had something going.
Lovers, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Come on, man. Niggas would not have even brought the two terms of lovers and rappers together in the same sentence 2-3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And now he come out with the suspect letter.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, leave all of my stuff to thing. Don't think about my old producer. My old producer is whack. You know, Solar is the truth. Solar ain't got one, that dude, super producer Solar, ain't got one stitch of music anywhere that I've heard, and I've been looking for it since I heard what was going down from the coma shit. But we knew from the coma shit. Like, oh, they got him in one of these comas.
And now he's trying to say it's cancer.
Yeah. But then it went from the coma to saying he had cancer, but he didn't die of cancer. He allegedly died of a heart attack. You see? So what is it? It's three-card money. You know what I'm saying? Like, follow the shell, then you'll see, you know, who's really running the game. But again, I don't think that it's any coincidence, again, that on the 19th, a day that's hooked up directly with Hitler, it would also be a situation where now a guru and this chick gets taken out. You know?
And also allegations of sexual relations between him and Solar. And then, you know, the crazy
this
letter.
is what they're saying. But when I did the knowledge to it, if you look at both of them together, they look alike. It was like Solar was literally trying to become that nigga. Like, they was both light-skinned, they both wore the same type of glasses, they both wore the same type of Applejack hat, they both wore black all the time. Like, what's up with that? And when did this dude come into the game?
Yeah, that's the question.
Because at first I thought it was the Solar from France that he used to roll with. MC Solar, remember him?
Mhm. I don't even know who this dude is. Personally.
But he's a super producer. He's the best producer in the world. The guru was bigging this dude up, and I'm like, I ain't never heard nothing this nigga did.
Did he do any of those Jazzmatazz albums?
Nah, not that I know of. Maybe he got a credit. Maybe
what did he produce?
That's what I'm saying. What do you produce? Bodies? You know what I'm saying?
Fictitious letters?
Produce a death certificates, nigga. Like, what are you doing? You know?
You know, and the shit on Primo, which, you know what I'm saying, he built his, basically, you know what I'm saying, built his legacy with, you know, like, you know, I would, that's, you know, that's the first thing I said, like, who, you know what I mean, on their deathbed is scribing something, and he's like, nah,
come on, man.
I hate this nigga, you know what I'm saying, so much so that I'm going to write in my...
Yeah, man, while I'm dying, the nigga that I will actually, look, let's keep it real, man. Let's be real people and family and keep it extra 100, man. If it wasn't for Primo's beats, Guru wouldn't be what he at.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, keeping it real. Like, Guru was a good rapper. I'm not saying that. And I grew up on him. I bought every Gangsta album consistently. But again, man, if it wasn't for premiering the beats, homie, your style wouldn't have taken it off the way that it did. Let's keep it real.
Because, I mean, in all reality, the original Gangsta that was formed, Primo wasn't there. Nobody knew about Gangstar like that. It wasn't until him and Preem came together that they then in turn started to build their success.
That's right. See, people don't even go back that far. People don't even remember that it was different people in the group before that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we gotta really, as original people, start demanding, going in and start doing our own research, man. Look at how many books and shit that came out about JFK since he been killed. You know? They'll never let that nigga go.
Mhm.
They'll never let that nigga go.
They recently had like a whole JFK thing on the History Channel about 2 or 3 days ago.
See?
The JFK conspiracy, going back, you know what I'm saying, going back to you know, going through his family lineage and everything, and then going to, you know, the shooting and assassination and everything like that. Like, you know.
The best movie to me on the whole JFK thing was this movie. It was an old movie. It came out in the 70s, right after the whole thing. I think it was one of the first movies on it. I believe it was called Executive Action, I believe. And this movie was so on point because it showed you the relationship between Ruby the relationship and the fact that, like, there's rumors going on in Washington that's been going on for years that Bill Clinton is actually Jack Ruby's son. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand that the people that you see on TV every day practice a form of birth control called peerage, where you can have a baby, and you, based on the religion that you're in, which is this fictitious Illuminati shit, you give up your baby for somebody else to raise, or they flip up the babies in the hospital. Anybody saw the movie End of Days, you would see that. The baby was born, they brought him into the basement, and then they did the ritual on it where they put the snake venom in the baby and then brought the baby upstairs to the mother. Like, this is a deep part of white supremacy as well as Western society that most black folks don't get privy to. In order for you to get privy to this type of shit, you got to be a black Satanist. That's just how it is. And I'm not talking about Soot, you know what I mean, Set, the pre-dynastic Aseer. I'm talking about the bullshit Lucifer guy, Satan guy, that these dudes are potentially doing rituals and things too, which is a bastardized, anglicized version of ancient Typhonian magic, you know. So, again, if you could get that movie, it's very deep. I think it's called Executive Action. It came out in the 70s. And it actually, at the end of the movie, it show you all of the people they killed who was connected to this shit. Regular civilian niggas. They give you a list. You know what I'm saying? These people, and all of them, how did they die? Heart attack, sudden cardiac arrest, car accident, plane crash. Come on, man. How everybody going the same way? You know? How is it that the entire Poland government plane get crashed, but these basketball players, football players, baseball players, rappers, rock stars, these niggas be flying everywhere. They planes never crash. Mm-hmm. Rolling Stones been flying planes for over 50 years.
Yeah, they got their own private jet.
Come on, son. Come on, man. I was born that night, but not last night. You know?
That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Nobody asks questions. Nobody thinks about it. No nothing. At the same time, what's that small country that was in the Eastern Bloc? They just ousted the president. You know what I'm saying? They just took over the cabinet. And Russia, Putin and them just arrested. I think it's like
South Ossetia.
Kyrgyzstan?
Oh, Kyrgyzstan, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at that.
You know what I mean? They just basically... Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say they just basically took over the country, and Russia's backing them, and, you know, just ousted the president. Just like that. Like, arrested him. The interior minister the interior minister was, you know what I'm saying, they had him in jail in Kyrgyzstan, beating him up. He got out of jail somehow, tried to bounce, somehow ended up in Russia, and then the Russians just arrested him, and now they got him. So don't you know what I'm saying, don't be surprised he wound up dead.
Yep. And now, remember we talked about it when you dropped how the president of Polonia had a twin brother?
Mm-hmm.
We was like, well, let's see if the twin brother take over the cabinet now and then run on some death ticket shit. Sure enough, he's running, and he's going to get it. It's on the sympathy of the people. And he's going to destroy that country because he's the bad son. He's the bad twin.
Exactly. He's the one the Russians told, look, we're going to clap him, and we're going to put you in office. What's good? And he was like, yep, go and do that. I ain't like that nigga like that anyway.
It's like, we just look alike. We have different views, though. Same shit with what you call it, son. With Georgia. Remember the war that popped off in Georgia? Well, it turns out that the war in Georgia had nothing to do with Russia. The Russians actually invaded South Ossetia and Georgia because the president, Tsaashvili, this dude, who again is a puppet of the United States, this nigga was bombing the northern side of the country. Leading up to the whole Russian invasion, he was basically saying that the people in South Ossetia need to come back need to start moving closer into the city. Because because he believed that they're in league with the Russians and all this bullshit, and they got a certain amount of days to comply. Once they didn't comply, he started bombing his own people in that country. And then the Russians heard about it, what was going down, and realized what was happening, that they was going to get blamed for the shit. So they went in there and actually started helping the people, to the point, if you don't believe me, go on YouTube and type in Russian president attacks his own country. See what come up. They actually got newscast. Matter of fact, they got a news clipping where it was a woman and her daughter who just escaped from the shit. And they talking to the chick on CNN and everything else. They going in on her. Then halfway through the interview, the chick flips the shit. She says, well, I also want to tell the American people and the world to know that it was not the Russian troops that came in and invaded Georgia. It was actually the Georgian president. She said, and I know y'all don't want me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Then they cut the commercial mad quick. You know? So again, man, look, V is already on TV again. They already telling you. They bringing you back to the 80s, nigga. They bringing you back to the time when V came out first time, what was going on. The Cold War was still going on. The nuclear thing was popping. The war in the Middle East was popping with Beirut and Lebanon and all of that. What's going on now? The war in the Middle East is popping still. The freaking Cold War thing with the nuclear bombs is still popping. Russia is still against the United States. And V is back on TV. You know? So come on, man. Let's keep it real, man. Let's all agree to wake up out the illusion and start doing something. You know? I don't know if it's I don't think protesting and all of that is the way to go, but hey, if that's what you feel you need to do something. You know? Because again, it seemed like the metaphysical community, we was going there, we was getting there, but you know, brothers and sisters then turned it into the WWE, so you can't really, you know, take anything that anybody is really saying. You got to really do your research, and you got to look at who's presenting this information to you and how. You know?
Yeah.
Because again, for those that don't know, to reiterate the obvious, you have straight-up police people, police officers, men and women, that are coming to these lectures, doing tapes, you know what I'm saying? Sending tapes, putting information out there, and they reporting to somebody in your local, state, and federal government. You know? So if they do, and again, it always starts where it began at. So they had to do it, start doing it up in Harlem, because Harlem has already been taken over. All of the debating and all this other stuff that niggas been going through, you figure that they would debate what's going on with the gentrification? You think that they would go up there and basically just say, no, we're not leaving this place until y'all get such and such popping? No. No, because while everybody was getting consumed in them debates, they sold a lot more real estate and kicked a lot more black people out. And because nobody in the metaphysical community is doing the knowledge to that, now you don't own Harlem no more. Nope. So everybody's talking about they went in Harlem and Harlem is this and Harlem is... No, it's not. It's already been confiscated. It's been colonized. And you got to ask yourself, where was I when all of this was happening? A lot of us were paying attention to bullshit that had nothing to do with what was really going on. So while we was getting caught up in what this one said about the Moors and what this one said about the Kemites and what this one said about Islam and what this one said about the Hebrews and what this one said about the Wapians, while we went through all of that, they were selling out niggas was selling out your crib, your place of business, your power base, the spiritual, cultural center of so-called Black America. Done. You know what I'm saying? So, again, they already had a ceremonial burial for the spirit of Harlem that white people held, the same way they did it in Brooklyn when they buried the spirit of Brooklyn. They already telling you, man. Then they brought Anubis in through the harbor, so you already know. It's a Rizzy. It's a Rizzy. But guess what? Ain't no Masonic lodges get shut down. Ain't selling them, no. Ain't no churches get shut down either. Nope. You know? So again, ask yourself, when it was all going down, was it really that important? You know what I mean? Was it really that important to really just express why one is better than the other? No. Because in the end, everybody lost. And the way that you know is nothing progressive ever came from any of that stuff that these brothers and sisters was involving themselves in. What, name one, I defy anybody to call me and tell me one positive thing that came out of all of that shit. I'm still looking. You know? Just seen people got more and more territorial, more and more divided, more and more caught up in the dogma of whatever team that they was representing, right? And all niggas did was sell more and more tapes. But in the end, again, who suffers from that? The children. Because now, when I bring my son and my children to Harlem, I got to tell them how it used to be. You know what I'm saying? I almost got to give them an illusion to say, hey, it used to be like that. And they're like, well, yeah, Dad, but ain't no black people up here anymore. You know what I'm saying? And this is coming from Wall Street Journal too. They did a whole report about it. You know, where they said that the most people in Harlem now was all black Africans, Caucasian people from Lower Manhattan, and what you call it? And West Indian communities. That's it. So we got a lot of work to do, guys. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of work, they went in on your man again for the Barclays thing. They went in on the Barclays thing again. That thing is blowing up. And it's amazing to me how the media just totally blankets this whole slavery, Barclays of London thing. It's totally not in the news in America at all. Like, it's ill.
They figure already got so many people. It was the conscious community, not they already know that. It's like the people, you know, there's people.
Try to say it again. You sound muffled.
No, I said it. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. You know, I said, you know, the majority of the people, they so caught up that, you know, even if they was to tell them, they wouldn't even, not only would they not care, they wouldn't even listen. You know, they so caught up with, you know, who's sleeping with who and what's the biggest thing in TV, you know, what's the next biggest, you know, television show and
what Gaga wearing.
Exactly, what Lady Gaga's wearing, did you see this new movie and all that? That type of stuff flies right over their head, and that's shown to the people on a daily basis just with their news. The news report more about entertainment than they report about your, you know what I'm saying, local happenings in your area. In your borough, in your city, even in your state. You know what I'm saying? Half of the news is basically dedicated to entertainment.
Exactly.
Nobody talking about that. Nobody in the uproar about that. Because that's what they want to hear.
Because the entertainment industry functions under the same parameters that the gladiatorial industry served in the Roman state. You know? It's mob mentality. It's distracting the people with bells and whistles. You know, like with the army. They kill you, they lie to you, they indoctrinate you, inject you, make you eat pills, all this other shit, go over there, kill a bunch of other people you don't know, and you come back to America, they don't give you no damn health care, they don't give you nothing except a damn medal. And these niggas eat it up.
Yeah.
They eat it up, though. Government don't care for no veterans like that. And I know because I build with veterans. There's a veteran community out here that one of the ones that's huge, and I'll be building with some of these dudes, trying to find out what really went down in Nam, as opposed to, you know, what I read or what Oliver Stone told me was going on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing going on now because it's the same people.
Yeah.
We, as those who are striving to do what is necessary to uplift ourselves spiritually and mentally and all of that, with children and all of that, it's like we got to start creating our own music. The same way we did it with the YouTube, we got to do it with other things. People need to create their own newscasting. Don't worry about 7 o'clock. You got public access.
Mm-hmm.
You could go out there. You could be filming things. You could be doing the same. People could be doing the same thing Sue Simmons and the rest of them be doing, but with the real shit, actually showing people what's going down.
Yeah.
But no, we rather do tape. But no, we would rather do tape commenting on what other people said on their tape. Like, come on, man. You know, it's the Roxanne syndrome all over again. Yeah, Roxanne Shante was dope and all of that, but behind all of that, UTFO and Roxanne thing, they was actually really warm with each other. They would sabotage each other's shows. They would cut each other's mics mid-show. They would trip, you know, she would like sabotage their show. They would sabotage hers. Like, it was a real beef with them at one time. All from what? Because we made a record, you know?
It's like now with people, you know, putting out DVDs.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. It's just like Shine now, this and 50 Cent. It's the same thing. Like, 50 Cent, he wasn't the one who locked you up, got you locked up, dude. That was the devil who did that.
Yep.
You know? But again, they, you know, those who pray to those in low places are presented higher here. You know? And that's cool. Just don't bring that to me. Don't try to lump us into that whole fictitious equation, because all of us are not on that.
Mm-hmm.
There's something else that went down, too, that was real crazy. That was related to the Hawkins thing. Also, Stephen Hawkins is related to John Hardy Hawkins. Those people come from 5% know who that is. He was the pilot of the good ship Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
The same ship that inadvertently made a lot of people Christian to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And again, man, let's start being objective in the information that we're building on. People will always step to you and always ask you to prove what you talk about, prove this, prove that, prove this, prove that. How you gonna prove something to somebody like that? That's like a person that may be retarded, and then you getting on them for you know, not reading the book correctly. You know what I'm saying? Like they telling you that you need to read it in a certain way that you're not reading it correctly. It's like, come on, dude. But this is the only society in which people of a low vibration, people of a low vibration that are exonerated here. It's like the more ignorant you are, it's like no education in the world is good enough, is better than an education from America, and that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
How many times I've gone to jobs and had to leave off the fact that I'm educated to get the job? You know what I'm saying? And this is the point. We got to stop getting to the point where we reduce ourselves to be down with something, man. And that is really my problem with the whole group taking an oath other than the one you take to preserve your family, yourself, and your God. You know? Because, again, Paul Mooney said it best. He said, yo, you got to ask yourself, these people have millions and millions and millions of dollars, let's say some of the celebrities or corporate America in that. If you got that much money and all that, why you need to join a group? Why does somebody like Will Smith need to be a Scientologist with all that money? You can be anything you want in the world. Why would you be that? You see? And why is it that most of the people in that are from realms along that line of thinking? Because you got to have bread to be a Scientologist. I don't know if you heard.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have money. Like your introductory package when you go to that whole orientation thing is like $350 to $400. Them people is paid. People don't know. Scientologists got their own naval fleet. They have a naval fleet of ships, okay, that if they needed to, they could be like in 2012 and get in their arcs and bounce. People don't realize that the whole, we talking about Scientologists, that whole thing, that there's a connection between L. Ron Hubbard, the guy who started that, Jack Parsons, the guy who started the Jet Propulsion Labs, which led to NASA, as well as Aleister Crowley, as well as, Bush and them. There's books on it. There's a book called Sex and Rockets about Jack Parsons that gets into that. There's another book called The Real History of L. Ron Hubbard. I forget authors, so I'm just putting the names out, the book titles out there. And that whole thing was set up by that guy, you know. So when I have people like, you know, Dougie Fresh is a Scientologist, Isaac Hayes is a Scientologist, I'm like, oh, these dudes are trying to get their money. You know what I mean? It's like Jay-Z doing anti-Semitism commercials. You think one of these niggas would do a commercial? Yeah, him and Russell. You think one of them niggas would do a thing against police brutality? No. They wouldn't.
Yeah, they haven't. But he had time to do anti-Semitism commercials. When, you know, who are we talking about when we're talking about Semitic people? Or are you talking about Semitic language? Which neither one classifies the people that are so-called Jews. So you could throw that, you know what I'm saying? You could throw that out. You know what I'm saying? But he running around with Bloomberg and those fools. So you know what I'm saying? You know what side his bread is buttered on. Keep forth that illusion. You want to play a joint and then open up the phone line? Hello? Hello? Can the people in the chat room hear me? Can the people in the chat room hear me? Just say yes or no. Okay. I guess possibly something happened with the Duke's phone. I mean, today's been very interesting with this whole block talk thing. So what we're going to do is we'll get into a joint and we'll open up the phone lines for questions. And hopefully by then we should have the going on. I guess he's having some technical difficulties right now with his phone. So we're going to get into a joint and we'll be phone line. So if you want to call in with a question or comment, the number is 347-637-1184. And we'll get into what we're getting to today. We'll get into a joint off my 44 project for all the people that have been supporting it. You know, once again, I thank you. You can go to www.sagassad.com SAGAASAD.com. Check it out, download it, buy it, support it. You know, so we're going to get into this joint. It's called Behind My Eyes. I think it's very relevant to, you know, a lot of things that we spoke about today in general. So we'll get into that, and we'll open up the phone lines, and we should have the Duke back on. All right? Peace.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Fuck the banks, please. I keep doing my sneakers. We need to drop the phone. Go back to pages and beepers. Cause you don't know they might pay pages to peepers. Sitting on your block with 8 speakers. 2 pigs in a van marked Great Caesar. Yes, these knocks may squeeze ya. Can't buy your way out with a visa. Guantanamo's a teaser. Syria, they sending you. They gonna be ending you. Literally, spiritually, physically, mentally. They do it to the 10th degree. When I'm gonna hope y'all remember me. You might get the word that they sent for me. I'm not a friend of the state, I'm an enemy, like John Henry Clark was. They don't wanna sit down and chit chat, they wanna outline and chalk us, listening to markers. Got me wanna get on board the Black Star Line, sailing the shores, not thinking about bombs and wars. I'm thinking about rhymes and tours, keeping my mom secure. They gave us a little, but now we want some more. Money ain't doing what it used to. They hate us, I guess they should know the feeling's mutual. The feeling's mutual.
Sunshine
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. So, as you can see, yeah, just in case. Hello?
Interesting. Yeah.
Where did it get cut?
Oh, man. You lost you about 10 minutes or so.
Dang. Do you remember the last thing I said? Well, I was talking about the G classification, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick. Star classification, or what we consider celestial body location, is broken up based on the level of the star that exists, right? So, in relation to solar bodies, the method is used to localize by the term G, right, which would mean gravitational, right? So the lowest is G by itself, right, where there's no number following it. So Earth, by that definition, is a G-class star. This is the real G they talk about in the masonry thing that they'll never tell the guys in the lodge, is that the G is not, it's about geometry, but it's the geometry as an effect to understand the geometria of the G-class star called Earth. Okay? So, with that, you still there?
Yep.
Okay. With that, right, you have the G in masonry, again, really being a representation of the G class rating of Earth itself. So that's one aspect of what the concept or the symbolic nature of the term G5 means, right? So when you get to G plus, let's say, 1, or G1, or G2, G3, G4, G5, that's when you get into planets that have such a high gravitational matrix that the frequencies they put out, the entities that exist there cannot necessarily be physical. Therefore, they're mostly non-physical all the time. So the aspect of their existence is higher by nature, yet, just like us as people, if they're not good spirits in that sense, then they're going to want to be someplace lower. Therefore, they incarnate here. So let's say a Rain Man, right, would be a G5 class entity. We know that because Jay-Z, who is inhabited by the entity, will put that out there. You know, he said he fly higher than weather, G5s are better, he's always in his G, and, you know, all of that. Mm-hmm. So in that could be the avenue that this entity manifests from. G5, in material sense now, that we understand, represents now the group of 5, which is France, Germany, Japan, United Kingdom, United States, which then would mean that the entity that is coming from let's say a G5 relation from outside this earth is at home or is fully manifested when all of these different guys get together and discuss their deviltry, right? But so that's how they manifest, let's say, through these group 5 type of energies or whatever, and everything else that's going on, right? But then, like I said, most of these people are Masons. So this now brings their hidden G5 agenda in. So you have the G5 as Masonry, you have the G5 as the group of 5, which is consistent of all of these satanic Freemasonic government people, right? Then the entity manifests them through the other G5, which really is the Y chromosome. The Y chromosome is what's called, in relation to genetics, is what's called a haplogroup of G5, meaning that there's 5 different little subatomic particles that float around the main one, right? That's also called the G5, which translates then to the Y chromosome in the DNA. See? So what I'm saying is that these entities, then this is why the blood in the ritual is needed to actualize these demonic entities for them to feed, because this G5 matter of the Y chromosome that's being manipulated through the blood ritual is basically the beacon that these same G5 entities are manifested from through the strength of the ritual from the G5 class place where they're really from. So because they're low vibrational entities in their own system, they can't really exist there because the vibration of that place is too high for even them. So they choose to reduce themselves and come into this thing that we call material reality through the Y chromosome of the ritual that's being manipulated by aspects of these Group 5 members, nations, right, that then inhabit everybody else who is affiliated with them, meaning all of the consumers and all of the government officials and everybody else and people who are not even in government, everyday people that have to do what then the government says. So when you hear people like the president, he always be like, and this and that. Or umbra is the 12th from entity from a thing called the Necronomicon that is where you get the term umbrella from. You see? So, when Obama and these people are saying that when they be giving these speeches, is a physical representation of a gap in their consciousness as they're relating what they're saying, which means that in those gaps, that's when the entity is feeding in the next line. And then that's when the guy comes and then finishes what he's saying. And then when the person who's speaking, whatever the entity is inhabiting is saying, they stop and they be like, okay. Well, specifically with Obama, just really look at him with that shit. He is notorious for that. You know? So again, that's another way that you can use that to then equate who around you is possessed. Those people who cannot consciously give their thoughts in a cohesive manner and a consistent basis means that they have no mental stamina, which means that they are more likely to be inhabited or possessed than someone who is more clear and concise with what they're saying. You know, so that is our take on so-called demonic entities that are usually manifested and where some of them are coming from. Because now that we know where they're coming from, you see, we can then localize what stars or what planets exist within those sectors. You see what I'm saying? And then we can set up whatever spiritual blocks or material things to be able to block entry from that sector of space. At least block it within your own mind. This is the form of dark plasma synthesis, the stuff that we really get into in the online classes that we're going to get set up in June. I think we were talking about doing it in June again. A 12-week course in which we get into the higher aspects of this as to how to localize these things and really keep them up off you know. But, damn, it's 10:22, G. You want to play the joint, man?
I actually played the joint in the interim when we was trying to
dope.
get you back on.
Oh, that's dope. See, that's why my brother, man, he really holding it down. But this is what they do, man. This is the type of shit they be doing to us, man. But we can get into some callers, man.
Okay. We're going to open up the phone lines. Once again, if you want to call in with a question, the number is 347-637-1184. Just put your hand up, and we'll try to get to you. So we got the first call, 832. Let us know who you are and where you calling from. Peace.
Peace, brother. This is Demetrius from Houston, Texas. Peace to the Super Heru family.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
I had a question for you guys. It's like a two-part question. Me and one of my brothers in Houston, we're building with you guys already. And we want to know about, is there any more information we can get about Black Herman?
Mm-hmm.
That we have your DVD already.
Okay.
And I want to also ask, excuse me, sorry for interrupting.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part you said.
No, I said I was sorry for interrupting. I was about to ask you, too, also. I wanted to find out where I can get more information on the thing you were talking about, Oprah's father being Martin Luther King, too. That was the thing I wanted to know.
That. Okay, you got to go. Okay, the first thing you said, what did you say about Black Herman? I missed that.
I was trying to find out, we can get any books on them, or did you have any other information, any other products that we can get from you about Black Herman?
Okay, yeah, we got a DVD on him that we did, and on that, it's on the website, and on that, there's a list of books about him that was on that, because a lot of the books that were written on him, they mentioned him in regards to vaudeville, so they didn't really get into who he was and his accomplishment, of what he was really doing for us. There's one book about black magicians itself called, I believe it's, I'm gonna find out again and put it on the site, and I'll say it next week too. But it'll be on there so you can have a list of joints about him, because there's not too much stuff out there. The stuff that's out, you gotta almost piece together. Just like with the Oprah Martin Luther King thing. That's based on the records of where she allegedly was born and the relationship to Dr. King at the time, because a lot of times when people research books and do things like that, how they put it together is based upon time frames of where the person was at the time that this person was coming into being, you see. So you would have to go into the records of Oprah's birthday as well as Martin's birthday, then look at the people who, at the times that Martin Luther King was in Chicago, right, who, female-wise, he was interacting with, you see what I'm saying, and then match it up to who people within Oprah's specific family, and then you'll start to see the connection,
Okay.
Also, you can get through what's called a FOIA, which is a Freedom of Information Act. It's an act that you can just go online and it will show you how to write it out, and you can request all of the information you want from the National Archives.
Okay.
That's
appreciate
how I got a lot of my leads on things. Also with the Rodney King thing, the relationship with him too is the fact that, again, Dr. King was very promiscuous, but that was all a means of his own insecurity, So based on that type of insecurity, like I said, he was the type of guy, based on the writings and stuff about him, he wouldn't get a girl that didn't have a man. He would try to take a girl from a guy that she was already with, because it was about him feeling like he could still do the things that he wanted to do, despite the fact that he knew he was serving, the beast.
Right, okay. Okay, brother, that's what I was trying to find out. I appreciate you guys' help.
No problem, brother. Thank you for calling.
Peace.
Yo.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that call, brother. My joint be fully charged and they be really, you know, the proverbial they. Am I still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We got 304-252.
Hey, hello?
Peace.
Hey, Peace Kings, this is Gabriel calling out of West Virginia.
Hey, what's up, G?
Hey, everything, man, everything. I was calling, I got a question for you, Dr. Aseer, about meditation. Like, what do you suggest as the best ways to do that, to get into that? I try to do it all the time, but I don't know. I mean, I just wonder how you do it, or clear your mind, or whatever you consider in that category. That's one question. Another question, I wanted to know if you heard of the movie or the documentary out called Pyramid Code, and if you can, go into what you know from that or whatever with Egypt or Kemet. And
thanks for that call, brother. I appreciate that, man. The first part to what you were saying, well, actually, what was your first question again?
My first question was about meditation. How you go about that?
Essentially, I think it really, meditation is specific to the individual participating in it. So what you might want to do is maybe try different meditations and kind of find the one that fits you. You know, if you've been trying and you've been feeling like you've been doing it but you haven't been receiving, then instead of doing more, you might want to investigate what feels right meditatively for you. It might not be sitting in a lotus position in front of an altar with incense. It might be you in a bath. It might be you meditating in the shower. It might be you running and going through whatever mantras or visions or whatever in your mind. You know, some people are more active in their meditation. But the way that Western New Age satanic society markets it is that you have to do it in a certain way. It's like whenever you hear about meditation, the first thing you think about is Buddha in the lotus position, you know. And that's really, again, another trap, you know, because that's not the only way to do it, because we know he ain't even look like that. So the real meditation is connecting within your breath and how that breath is channeled based on the slowing of the breath and how you can then get in tune with the part of yourself that is connected to the inner heart, you know. Like you have the heart, which is the muscle, but the muscle is dense, and within that heart there's a little smaller heart that kind of keeps it all going, you know, which again is showing you the wheel within the wheel. So you might want to try those different things to figure out what's best for you, you know. Some people are more prone for structured meditation, you know. But again, when Buddha went to do it, he went out in the wilderness for dolo. So he wasn't in class, you know what I'm saying namaste to nobody except the trees and the plants and all of that, you know. But again, because yoga and meditation and things like that have a Caucasoid face and is equated to elitism and groupthink, you see, they've already limited our perception of it. So we almost got to investigate different versions of it to see which is most like the one was for us.
Right.
Because we've been thinking other people's thoughts for so long, we don't even know what we think. We don't even know, you know, all the time we take trying to, you know, come up and get with other people for this and for that. If we take that time and invest within self, you know, we'll be able to get there and then realize that we've already been there. Yet, it's always about what we don't have because our people, you know, are how they are. As far as the Karl Monk thing that you talked about, the Pyramid Code thing, that was on point. That DVD, I think I have it. I gotta keep it. But it was really good. It was this ex-Navy guy, white guy, who basically cracked the pyramid codes and how they relate to the longitude and latitude of the ley lines on the planet. And it was very simple how he broke it down, because that's how it broke it down to him. But all of that stuff is great, you know, because it helps us know the morphogenetic grid and things like that. Yet, if you're not balanced, then none of those things are going to work, you know. Mm-hmm. So inherently, I think the DVD was excellent, and it was on point. And it wasn't, he didn't make it so like you couldn't understand it. And what I liked about it in the video, he kept saying, you know, we like to think our arrogance. He always talk about white people arrogance. He's a white man. So, you know, stuff like that I like.
Now, Doctor, excuse me, Doctor, so not to cut your wisdom, Doctor says, is that the same DVD that is by a lady named Carmen? Or some lady named Carmen has something to do with it? Are you familiar with that?
No, the one I'm talking about is the one with by a guy named Paul Monk, M-U-N-C-K.
Okay. I never heard of that. I wanted to make one last comment, too, for you to say something about this. Where you said that, well, I read that myself, too, about Brother Hawkins saying that the aliens, you know, could possibly pose a threat or something like that. I read on the Internet. I was wondering if that's him speaking on behalf of, you know, I guess what I, too, would call the machine or, you know, whatever forces, because they know that those entities are black.
Right.
Just another view of it, you know.
Yes, that's definitely true. There's different, just like there's different types of humans, you know, there's different types of aliens, both what we would consider positive or negative. But when they manifest here, they're not coming from a positive or negative position. They look at how they are as how they are. So they don't put a moral categorized notion to it. You dig? Whereas we are the recipients of their actions. So of course we think something's wrong, because it's wrong how they are. Yet that's just because, again, anybody that's coming from a higher frequency and is trying to make it work here physically knows that eventually the longer you are non-physical and you're physical here, the more insane you'll go. That's why they're all insane, you see, because they have to have this Y chromosome blood in them to satiate this blood connection between the non-physical entity and the host that has been brought up generationally to be able to accept this type of entity within it. See, this is how white so-called Caucasian people, or people who believe that they are white, this is how they are grown in this country. You know, they're grown to be able to hold this malevolent entity within them that manifests through their culture. That's why they're always vampires, and they're always, you know, so extreme with their sexual and deviant behavior. You know, it's just now we are emulating them to the point that a lot of us are them, you see? But we have to choose to be on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Whereas them, it's more their condition for that. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Yeah, I'm going to be listening to this over again. Thank you, man.
Thank you, King.
Hey, one last thing. No, I asked you that some other time. Thank you, brothers. All right.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you, King.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, brother.
We got 202.
Dr. Aseer.
Peace, brother.
Look, quickly, now, in the conscious community, there are some that are saying that we have various different, like Yeminya, Sarabati, and so forth around us, have been with us for quite a long time in this lifetime or experience. Now, what I need to know from you, brother, is the veneration of these spirits beneficial to us, or should we be venerating them because they have been with us, so-called, in this lifetime incarnation, or what is the deal? I mean, should we be feeding them or giving them something, or do they help us, or how do we use their energy, You see what I'm saying? To benefit us here in our plight or our rise. You there, brother? Dr. Aseer. Dr. Aseer? Dr. Aseer?
Hello?
Dr. Aseer, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Look.
They brought me out.
Yeah, that came from, it came, anyway, it came from through Bobby Hemmett, through Miss Blue, and so forth like that, readings, oracle, whatever. What I need to know is, like, they are giving us so-called goddesses energies that are around us now, and I just want to know, do we need to venerate them, or is venerating them even helping us to progress on the path or whatever it is? Basically, I'm like, man, I'm ready to pop it, you know what I'm saying? So I just need to know what I need to be doing to get this work done, to get whatever I need to be doing to get it on and popping. You feel me?
Right. No, I do. That's a
good peace to you, brother.
Yeah. Peace,
great, thank you very much for all the work. Let me know, because, like, down here in Maryland, and I ain't going to get into it, but for like 30 years, it's on and popping with me for a whole bunch of stuff, but I have been lazy. But please, sir, let me know what I need to be doing right now.
Thank you, King. It's real simple. One, get into those things, really be honest with yourself, as honest with yourself as you can be at all times. Even when if you got to be on some bullshit, just be in that bullshit in the moment and keep it moving. Like, instead of getting caught up in positive and negative, which are two polarities of the same energy, it's better to be righteous, because then you can still maintain God's light within whatever situation you're in. And you won't, and based on that, you won't be in situations with a certain energy or vibration,
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Number two, as far as these different gods and goddesses and entities and stuff, they're all well and good and they're great, yet they need physical people to exist here. And that's the one part of spirituality and religion that people don't talk about. They always talk about it from the perspective of God talking down.
Mm-hmm.
But they never talk from the perspective of God, man speaking up to God, So in that, we're at a time where the cycles have sped up based on this 13 moon thing that's still been going on, even though we haven't been practicing it consciously. A lot of us have been practicing it naturally. Women, for most instances, which is why they had to create the birth control thing to slow up the period and stuff like that, because when they did that to enough women, and enough women did that, it switched up, again, the polarity of the physical earth, which is just the physical representation of the energy that they are incarnate of. Therefore, the gods and the goddess energies that have existed and do exist around us are really manifestations of chemical processes that happen within.
Right, right.
So, essentially, in order for them to manifest the energy that they need to get through here, we have to get to the point to understand that they exist within what we would call our central nervous system, as well as the taste buds, things like that. So
okay, well, can you tell me, sir, what do I need to do to bring it on through? That's what I need to know right now.
One thing you need to know, instead of worshiping, veneration is good, because it's a representation of adoration. Yet you don't want to admire or adore so much that you become a supplicant
right.
of that entity. See, because even the most beautiful entities can succumb to the low vibration of their frequency and become parasites just to experience things like, smoking a cigarette or, bathing in blood or whatever it wants to do. You see, because again, we're talking about a non-human consciousness. So when you see people doing almost non-human things, you got to know that most likely is a non-human entity within that person doing that. This is not to say people are not responsible for their actions.
Okay, but are they helping us if we go in and do this or get them or whatever? I need them on my side in order for me to do what I need to do.
Well, what you feel you need to do inherently is probably then what you need to do. You see what I'm saying? Regardless of what I say or what anybody says. It's just, do you have the stamina and are you at the spiritual place where you can abound these things? This is why, again, really knowing yourself, really knowing what the entities or spirits or God, what they represent, and how they correspond then to a chemical within you. You see?
But is it going to help our rise if I even get into? I'm reading up on them. I was just given this not too long ago from an oracle reading.
No, it does help. It does. The fact that, again, you're giving energy to something that 90% or 99% of our people pay no attention to. Therefore, the truth, the wealth, and the entities and the positive spirits that are attached to that knowledge, right, are now coming directly into you through your optics, which then goes into your pineal. You see what I'm saying?
Well, that's what they
so
say.
Therefore, you're storing all of this energy that most people have forsaken. Therefore, when the shit goes down, you don't know what you're going to be able to do. You see what I'm saying? Just based on the fact that you've raised your vibration enough to be seen by these entities.
Okay, well, can you tell me real quick, sir, exactly, I know a whole bunch of various ways of raising the vibration and so forth like that to be seen, and ain't no scared with nothing. I just want to get my work done. I came here for a specific purpose, and I'm here, and so therefore I don't want to waste no more time on nothing. I want to get it on and popping. If you can understand where I'm coming from, let me know exactly what I need to be doing, because I got you on here, and I appreciate you.
I'm telling you. It all starts from there. I could tell you the basic shit, stay away from the white women, stay away from the toxic black chicks, stay away from the hating-ass niggas that's around you that's not going to give you nothing but grief. Don't try to convert people in your family. Don't try to go out there and become a so-called militant. You are a militant just by hearing you talking to me, the way that you come off. You see, you are that. Yet,
for real,
how society wants to equate that is something else, and you're too smart to get caught up in that. So you got to almost be so militant that you could just look at a cracker and the cracker, no, I can't run this bullshit on him. That's the type of mentality you got to have to be able to look at a cracker and already bust down what and who and what they are. Because when you can do that, there's no fear that you have in them. There's no anger. Like I don't have no anger at. What I'm angered at is the apathy of our people. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I know that everybody just because they melanated ain't my people.
Okay, sir, let me ask you something else. Is all this bath stuff and all these essential oils and the candles, is all this worth it, or is there some other kind of way we need to be popping? Because as old as I am, as far as I feel in the spirit, it's like, man, I'm like beyond that. I mean, I ain't, no disrespect, sir.
That's good. That's what I'm trying to say. Your spiritual journey is dictating your level of involvement. So if you feel that you have graduated beyond that realm, that's actually really good. That means you could be coming up with some whole other shit for us to be doing in ours too. I don't know. But what I do know is you got to be sure, you see, that that's what is really going on with you, and that those thoughts are your thoughts.
It ain't going nowhere in 30 years, and they got, I got to get it on.
So again, that's some type of, that's not even a thought anymore. It's a way of life that you've been living. So all I can really tell you to do is some of the mundane stuff, like I said, which is the trivial stuff that I told you, but also the more understanding the different levels of your own self. And if you're going to deal with these entities or whatever, to be able to bind them and to be able to make them work for you, you got to be able to equate it to something within you. The same way I was talking about how the G5 thing is synonymous to the Y chromosome in the human.
Right.
That's taking something that's non-physical and applying it to something physical, which is basically how they do it. But they'll argue me down about it, you see, and get me caught up in proving that to somebody. And me getting caught up in doing that, you see what I'm saying, then gets me into the level where I'm now focused then on the ego, because now I got to show and prove something to somebody, when me knowing it for myself is really enough.
Right.
You know, I'm not out here to convert anybody to nothing. And I'm not trying to join nothing other than people that's trying to do some shown up shit. But if they ain't trying to do that, then we got to do something else. But until then, candles and oils and all that stuff, that stuff works. You just got to...
thank you. That's what I need to know.
You know, you just got to make it work for you, which means you got to be in a certain... We have graduated from the mind state of worshiping these things. We got to get to the point that we know that these things...
So, sir, not cutting you off, no disrespect. Now, they gave me these 6 different goddesses. They said was with me all the time, all the way through. I don't need to worship them, but how do I get them? How do I approach them in the way that I am not worshiping or whatever? How do I look at this like with them now? Now that I know who they are and that they exist, how do I go about dealing with them? I don't want to worship them, but how are they supposed to be working for me?
You treat them like you treat a woman that you love.
Oh, okay.
That's the deepest form of magic, really. When you take care of them and you rub them down or whatever, and you make sure.
So give them their little candles and give them their little oil. But how do I talk to them? Like I'm subjugated to them, or talk to them like you're on an equal path?
You talk to them. Yeah, you talk to them as if you are the aseer, because there's 6 goddesses, so therefore there's no male.
I talk to them with authority, but no disrespect.
No, you come to them the way that you would come to your wife.
Oh, okay,
Because they are there to help you like you are there to help them. If you ain't there, who going to light the candles for them? Who going to rub down the statues? Who going to keep the altar clean? So if they want a bigger altar, y'all got to look out and give me a bigger space. Help me get a bigger space. You see what I'm saying? It's give and take, just like a relationship. It's we all came up under the Christian thing, so we got a means of still deprogramming. Even now, I still find myself deprogramming myself from stuff. But that's natural. You know, so the more you do that, man, you're going to be great.
Okay, they scratch my back, I scratch your back. All with due respect on both sides. Okay.
Got it, bro.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
Peace.
Peace.
You want to take one more quick call?
Cool.
All right. We got 708. You're on Super Heru Radio. Peace.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Islam. Brother Wise Cobra
Peace.
here. I have a quick question. I'm good, brother. How you?
I'm good, man.
Brother, what do you know about blood types? I'm trying to, study my blood type. I'm an O negative, and I'm trying to get a source or a couple of sources to look into.
Blood type is good to know because that allows you to know what. The reason why hospitals want to know blood type, one is to make sure you get your own, but 2, to know what type of entity that they're going to put in you based on the plasma they're hooking you up with. You know what I'm saying? So they've been able to synthesize these things into what they call nanobites that are little living computers with demonic consciousnesses in them that can then go into your system through the blood and navigate that.
Wow.
What you can do is get you a microscope, right? Prick your finger and look at your blood under the microscope. Then what you do is you go to the Journal of American Medical Association and get their treatise on blood type and how they look. blood types within the hemoglobin, how they look. Because these niggas will tell you that you are A and you really be a B and shit. Well, like, they grimy like that.
Wow.
Especially if it's like a hit, like they trying to get rid of you, they'll do stuff like that. So if you can look at your own blood and under the microscope, and then look for blood that is like that, what they would call bad blood.
Okay.
So then you can know what your blood actually looks like. You understand?
Right.
Not just as a liquid, but on a subatomic level, which then activates aspects within the pineal, which then the hypothalamus in the overdrive. Because you're consciously investigating yourself.
Indeed.
So the body, by nature, has to reveal more of itself to you. You understand?
Right. Thank you
So,
for
yeah,
that.
man. Oh, no doubt.
Peace, man.
Thank you,
Peace, King.
Yep. It's about that time again.
We made it.
Yeah.
They
With all
chopped
the
into the
technical
Comms Block this week, man. But that should be accepted because it was the ritualistic 13th show, so of course they was going to try to be stupid.
Yeah.
But it's good, you know. It's good because it shows the people that we're not just bringing the stuff out of our butt, you know.
Yeah. Definitely so. So with that, as I always say, I like to say thanks to all the listeners. You know, definitely thank you for all the support. And, of course, again, I'd like to say thank you, my brother, for doing this show with me. You know, spending the last 2 hours together, you know, going through the motions and going, you know what I'm saying, disseminating the knowledge to the people. And really and truly just having a dialogue, because I think something with this show is like we more have a dialogue, you know. It's more like a sit-down than, you know, an actual show or, you know, something of that nature.
Word. I appreciate the same, man. Thank you. Thank you for everybody who supported, everybody who's donated. It's really helping us out, getting the projects that much tighter. We accept all donations as well as people who supported the site. And, you know, it all helps, man. Because, again, it's also validation for us that we're on the right track with things when people also bring the knowledge back. So it's really dope. So thank you for that. Thank you to the Creator, the Most High, for letting us all be here together and depart from each other in peace and love and harmony and be protected in the righteousness of the Most High and the truth. So whatever you hold that to be is what I'm talking about, you know. And, again, this is Super Heru Radio. Anybody wants to holler at me, you can holler at me through the website, Super Heru Radio, as well as www.afraidofjuguteers.com. Peace, House of L, Hotmail. You know, we gonna win, man. Nobody is gonna get there alone. Yet we all start that way. You know.
Sure indeed.
And with that, we say peace.
Peace.